Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Hear From Her chat show. We have a special panel today with some incredible projects. This is hosted by the Boss Girls, and the team is here. Let me introduce ourselves. We are the Boss Girls. We started off as a simple NFT project, but we have since turned into a movement. We like to think that we are the bridge between Web 2, Web 3, the decentralized and the decentralized space. We are here to inspire young girls and women to build themselves and allow to create a future that they truly desire. We recently launched our social platforms, TikTok and YouTube, where we provide educational and informative content. And this is our podcast, Let's Hear From Her. We interview a new guest each episode and share the joys and hardships that they may have faced. And I'll share a little more about our project later, but we have some amazing guests joining us today, so I'd love to hear from them. Let's start off with Angel. How are you?
Thank you so much for letting me get so involved in your community. I really love everything you're doing, and onboarding women from Web 2 to Web 3 is a huge part of my mission, so I love everything you're doing. My name is Maddie, and I've previously started my own business, and I'm now working as a VC analyst and a startup incubator. So I'm very, very interested and involved in entrepreneurship. And what I noticed is a real lack of female entrepreneurs, and especially when it comes to funding. Only 2.3% of VC funding went to women in 2020, which is absolutely crazy. And I got into NFTs a few months ago and just kind of saw an opportunity to create a project mainly for female entrepreneurs. So we are looking for, again, male and women to kind of join the community because we want it to be very inclusive. But we'll be funding female entrepreneurs so they can apply with their pitches, and our community or our DAO will vote for which ones we fund. As well as this, we're going to be providing exclusive networking and educational events. And I have big visions for Angel Alliance, but that is a very brief summary and overview. Sorry if I took up too much time.
Oh, you're good. We definitely agree. We don't want this to be women against men or whoever. Completely agree that we have to lift each other up, and that's how we're going to build on top of this mountain of success.
Yeah, I think I guess the whole thing about inclusivity is kind of including everyone. But again, our mission is to fund female entrepreneurs, but within the community, we're happy to have anyone involved.
Definitely. May I ask what women empowerment means to you?
Yeah, so I think I got you asked me this question the other week as well. I think for me, it just means so feminism to me means equal opportunities for both men and women in kind of every respect of that. So there are, I've been very privileged and I have had a lot of opportunities, but in certain places there isn't that same opportunity. So I think women empowerment for me means, again, just equal rights regardless of your gender.
Definitely. Completely agree. Thank you so much, Angel. Miss Sisterhood, would you like to give a short introduction about your project?
Hi, hello. How are things? It's great to be here. Thanks so much for having us all. It's really wonderful to get everybody together. I think it's always such a great energy. And you're so kind to take the time to organise this, and you're doing wonderful things with your project as well. So big props to you for doing that and making moves. So my name is Lisa. I'm the artist and co-founder of Mystic Sisterhood. And Mystic Sisterhood is a project of 7,777 mystical gals, all hanging out on the Ethereum blockchain, as I like to say. And each mystic sister is unique, and they approach mysticism totally in their own way, just like all of us do. Our interests can, differ so vast and so far. So it's kind of just a representation of how we're all different and we all have our own personalities out there. We are a community that is focused heavily on the support of creativity, wellness and spirituality. And we've definitely, it comes from the idea that creativity comes from your soul, and keeping the balance of the two in mind is a strong passion of ours. And we are on a mission to give back to our community and keep empowering people who may not have the resources or the help that they need to succeed in the NFT space, or indeed just as an artist in general, with the help of wellness and spirituality sort of along the way. So we're really on a big mission to create our Mystic Sisterhood Creative Hub, which will be a fantastic resource for funding, facilitation, resources, and just making connections and friends, which is super, super important.
Definitely. Like the community connection is like so important to continue moving that project. What was the inspiration behind Mystic Sisterhood, like the mystic like vibe behind the entire project?
Yeah, so it all kind of derived from my own personal experience with mysticism and spirituality and art as well. They've been the things that have gotten me through incredibly tough times in my life, and I'm sure lots of people can resonate with that too. And it was just really about creating a project where this was represented and more people could kind of speak together on their common interests and come together and make connections. You know, we've all come through a time where it's been very, very lonesome for a lot of us, and maybe we haven't made those connections. Maybe we're all working from home and things like that. So it was really driven through that kind of support that I had from female friends and women in my life throughout, and it was that support as well. But I will add, you know, we are women led, but we have a fantastic team of guys behind us who uplift us and support us, and they are incredible as well. And like you said before, you know, we can all support and uplift each other as well. So I suppose the inspiration was just to kind of make a project that was, you know, mystically inclined, that people might feel drawn to and find their people.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Outlaw Gals, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. I am Catherine, and I am artist of the Outlaw Girls. We are a project of 6K generative, diverse women that are also mostly representing alternative culture. And I was making them with a goal to be somewhat realistic, you know. That means they have traits like do not exactly follow beauty standards and are not exactly feminine, like skulls, greens, side cuts, and scars. But that's very important to represent it as well, I think. And we have also started as more of a simple NFT project, but kind of evolved as we go. So now we have many goals and future plans, but currently we are focusing on preventing injustice and abuse towards women, because it was first-hand experience for me for many years. And this space we are trying to elevate and connect and help to smaller artists and like-minded projects, because we are building a new beautiful space in Web3, right? And I think it needs to be filled with all the best things in the world. We have enough of competition and bitterness and all the hate in Web2. So we think just toxic traditions have to go in this one.
I agree with that completely. I believe everyone else in this space can as well. With your project, you're uplifting women. How else are you, targeting that? Since you have kind of a specific area that you're targeting?
Well, mainly right now we don't have much opportunities, but we are currently donating and donated already a half of the funds we wanted to charities, which exactly keeping us in touch with them also, and providing some information about their mission as they go. That was very lovely experience, and I'm looking forward to hear more of them. We are trying to give back to community by doing spotlights, and also planning to perhaps do some kind of spaces like you are doing for people to connect and elevate each other. We are planning to buy from artists some art and distribute somehow through our community as well. So kind of giving them the first kick, it's very important in the space, because that's how you get seen basically. And since we are small, we are not doing much, but we are trying our best. And hopefully as we go and as we grow, we will be able to do more for the community and for smaller artists and projects to kind of, have an ally, because allies here is very important as well.
Yes, I completely agree. Like this connection with this group of like powerful, like female led and like good based projects like this is awesome. I love that we're all able to connect with each other as well. It's really amazing to see. Lost Girls of the Metaverse, would you like to go?
Yeah, hi guys. Can I check you can all hear me okay? I'm just out walking my dog. Oh, okay, amazing. Yeah. You can all hear me. Brilliant. So yeah, hi everyone. Firstly, the Boss Girls, thank you so much for inviting me to join you guys today. A little bit about Lost Girls then. So I'm going to sound really out of breath, so I do really apologise. So it's myself. My name's Fran. I'm the artist and kind of creative founder. And then I have a very close friend of mine called Maria, who is the sort of, she comes from a tech background. And we have started a kind of members club. We're trying to do it a little bit differently than all of the other projects out there at the moment. Our mission is quality over quantity. So we don't have a Discord channel. It's something I really was against from the get-go, just from me joining the NFT community. I found it really, really, really hard to kind of get down with Discord. I also find it a really scary place. At the moment, it's just rife full of scammers and hackers, and I just was never keen to let anyone who wanted to buy a Lost Girl be around that. So instead, with our kind of our NFTs, our Lost Girls, you get access to a membership, which basically just means we have a private Telegram group, which is another platform, but it's, in my opinion, a lot more secure. We fully dox everyone before we allow them to join. All of the members, we all know each other by name. And then we host Zoom calls every weekend so that we can all get to know each other on a bit more of a personal level, which for me helps even with my learning and my knowledge of NFTs and Web3. I like to have those kind of slightly more intimate relationships with the people I'm kind of hanging out with and talking to. So yeah, but it's been a slow build for us, but we feel like we've just found and connected to some really, really amazing women in this space, but also women who come from incredible backgrounds just within sort of the Web2 world. So ultimately, for me, I'm a fashion designer by trade. That's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I still am doing. I know what the importance is to merge these two worlds. But we're not going to achieve that if we're all just sat on Twitter. So us as creatives and in this new space, we need to start building those connections and bridges with brands and organizations who don't really know how to get into it yet. So we've had some really amazing progression already. We've had some artists join as Lost Girls, and they've been connected with art curators, which has been amazing. So we've had already one huge success story, and yeah, we just hope to continue that really.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, taking that knowledge and also bringing in brands that won't take over the space. Obviously, it's decentralized, so they can't fully take over, but they can definitely have big impacts. But if we guide that way and introduce them in a proper manner, like we could do huge things in this space. I mean, the advertisements and commercials that have been rolling recently have definitely piqued interest for a lot of the public, which is amazing to see. I have a question. What inspired the portrait style for the artwork? And it's lovely, by the way.
As I mentioned before, come from a fashion design background, right? So I've been doing that for like the last 10 years. I'm definitely, I class myself, and I kind of, I don't know what the word is, but I think of myself as a creative rather than an artist, okay? So when we came to do this project, I always had my business head on, just as much as my creative head. And that's something that's always been with me. So yeah, I've been a designer for 10 years. Lockdown happened. First lockdown in the UK happened, and I was literally going out of my mind. Realised I needed to find a hobby. and I took it upon myself to pay for a little illustration course, digital online course. Had never done illustrations before. It's not really something you have to particularly do for fashion design. And yeah, I learned online within a couple of days. I was absolutely obsessed, was illustrating every day. I started an Instagram page, pretty quickly got quite a few followers over on Instagram, which was a surprise. But yeah, and I fully burnt out. I burnt myself out so quick within like 6 months over on Instagram. It was just full on the algorithm. I'm sure a lot of you have already done this before. If a lot of you are artists yourselves, it can be really intense over on Instagram. So I burnt out. I didn't look at illustration for a good year and a half. And then I learned about NFTs, and I learned about Web3 mainly through my work, actually, just because it's Web3 and the metaverse is becoming a hugely talked about topic within most retailers now. Just an FYI, it's really being highlighted within sort of head offices, and we're all sort of talking about it as designers. So yeah, I just took a look back at my old illustrations. I kind of revisited my past, that kind of past 6 months of kind of craziness, and created a brand. I created the Lost Girls of the Metaverse. I picked myself a palette that I felt looked unique and not something that I hadn't really seen that much of in this space. And yeah, and I went from there, and I kind of created these Lost Girls. I've got 25 Lost Girls. And yeah, I don't know. I at the moment I kind of did it. It just felt right. That's all I can really speak to it. So again, not an interesting story, I'm afraid. But yeah, we love them. We love them at Lost Girls.
I love seeing different fields join the space, like, because everybody has a different background and story and job they work. So everybody has a different like look into Web3 or the decentralized space. So it's super interesting to me. Cyber Cosmos, I hope you can hear me now, but would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you. Yes, I can hear you. First of all, huge shout out to Boss Girls. Thank you so much for organizing this amazing space, and thank you so much all for joining us. It's a pleasure to meet you. You've got some amazing things going on, and I feel so inspired to meet you all today. My name is Ankita. I am originally from India. I'm based in New Zealand. I moved to New Zealand in 2015. The collection that I'm launching is called Cyber Cosmos World. We are on a mission to increase the representation of women in STEM. A little bit about me. So I come from India, and the country that I come from is very, very restricted for females. Even when I wanted to, move to another country, it wasn't easy. Like, I had to explain why, and it's not just that. You have to answer to every person when you're taking a decision for your life. I feel very fortunate and lucky that I come from a progressive family. I was supported, but many don't. So when I moved to New Zealand, I wanted to do a lot of things, which I got, of course, an opportunity to do so. But when I say when I say women empowerment, I don't say that I'm incapable of anything. I'm the voice of those people who unfortunately don't get the opportunity and support that they should be getting to start a career. Apart from my NFT project, I'm also the founder of a cybersecurity company, SecurityLit, which is based in New Zealand. Now, when I was starting my business here in New Zealand, I realized, even I was based in a Western country, the struggles to start a business for a woman is real, and it has nothing to do with where you're based. And that was like a reality check for me, that it doesn't matter where you come from or where you are. You have to work really, really hard if you're a woman. So when I was introduced to NFTs, I was like, okay, this is an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing technology. I want to create a project for females like myself who want to start something on their own, but they're not getting the support or not getting encouraged to do so. So our vision is to increase the representation of women, and we want to support females if they want to start something on their own. It doesn't have to be, a career in technology. If you're an artist and you want to do it full time, we want to support those people. So that's a little bit about me. We're launching end of next month, so 31st of March, and we're a 10,000 PFP collection. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Super excited about your upcoming launch. And I agree, a lot of people get stuck on that first initial problem, and that's kind of what knocks everyone out. So the fact that you're going to help and represent those women trying to join and get past that first, little bump in the road, like you'll start so many projects, and everyone has an incredible vision and mindset. So that's awesome to hear.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak and share my story.
Definitely. Tiny Rex, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm, you can call me Tiny, you can call me Rex. Some people call me Faye because that's my personal name. My personal account's up at the top there too. Me and my partner started Tiny Rex late last year. He came up with the initial idea to do an NFT project. I came up with the image of a sad little dino with a big head and tiny arms, and he's taking care of the programming and technical stuff while I take charge on all of the art and social outreach and everything. So at this point, I'm kind of the visible head of the Tiny Rex. I'd say he's the tiny arms behind it, programming everything and helping keeping it in line. But while we are child focused, I do think that is a big part of supporting women. Not only are there a lot of mothers in the space, especially like single mothers or struggling mothers or mothers balancing this and that, but I think part of how we feel about ourselves as women and how we develop into adults, like a large part of it is in our childhood. We learn very early on, especially as women, what we are worth to society, if anyone's there for us, all of that. A lot of us grow up being told or shown in some way that we're not going to make it very far without the support of a man, which means that we get into bad relationships, we get into tough situations, or we just struggle. Sorry, I'm like, out of breath here. But yeah, I mean, books for me, I think that's like really important. I know not everybody reads these days, but I think that's something we gotta not let go of. And so that's why ours is a book focused project. My partner came up with that idea too, to do a book, and I ran with it because honestly, the moment he said it, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I didn't have anyone growing up, but books were there for me. And I think books have the ability to like point you in the right direction or give you that support you need when no one else is there. So I think if we can make people or make children feel less alone and show them good examples early on, it's going to help them later in life.
That's beautiful. I don't see many children-based projects. It's very small right now, and I'm sure it will grow, but it's awesome because it is true. Like, children are impacted from such a very young age, and that kind of influences the path they will take later on in life. So it's great to see that. What's your kind of goal and outlook for this year, and hoping in the impact you will have on children?
We're not sure as far as timeline. Still trying to figure that out. We had a couple of hiccups. Currently my partner's injured, so trying to program our website is a bit rough, but I think that'll clear up soon. We thought we were going to launch on Magic Eden, but they never got back to us. So we're just going to go back to doing our website. We are currently working on some things. I believe you know about it. I've mentioned it before. We want to make the Tiny Rex books a digital pop-up book, basically, using AR, so that both the digital versions and the physical versions you would be able to interact with via some AR app or whatever they do on the phone. He knows the technical stuff, I don't. So that when you look at the book, the actual action from the page pops up. Currently, I am working on teaching myself animation for that. I'm just running into the hurdle of the fact that neither of my machines are powerful enough, so I'm going to have to try and borrow a machine. But that's what we want to do. We want to get our books released. And the first step with that is, launching, obviously. And then we want to get the books printed. We want to donate the first batch. And everyone who mints also gets the digital copy. So, just once the books are finished, that's the next step, is getting them out. And but that may take a bit just as we get the AR component in there, because we'd like to have that when it's launched. But I mean, yeah, that's basically what it is. That's our first step, is getting mint and getting the book out. And I do want to do more books too. And obviously, once they're out, I want to start getting them other places, in libraries and stuff. I talked to somebody about doing a reading at a women's shelter. I'd like to do more of that, because we will be donating to children in women's shelters and orphanages, because I think struggling children need the most support.
I love it. And I remember when you first told me about, making an AR book, like, you're going to reach so many people that way, and very quickly too. So that's awesome. And going to those women's shelters, and children need that. Some people really relate to stories and writing and reading. They can get lost, like you said, and that's like a safe place for them. So it's beautiful to hear and see.
Thank you.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but conchitaqueen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi all. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you for this amazing chat. We are conchitaqueen, and we are a team. I'm Mafalda, the woman who is leading this project. And with this project, we want to support a female entrepreneurship and the eradication of the gender employment gap. In fact, I'm running, and I'm the owner of a co-working space, and we don't have a lot of women here working in tech. And we want to help to having more women here in these spaces. You can see that with this project, we are giving support to different causes, and these organizations are focused on women in tech, like Girls in Tech, Anita B.org, Girls Who Code, Ilga World, and Dota Association. And most of the sales that we want to have with this project are going to give support to these causes, and to purchase a female NFT art that we will acquire with this community wallet. So if you want to join us or see our project, we will be very thankful, and thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. It's great to see, everyone has similar projects. We're all in the same realm, but everyone's targeting a different audience, which is awesome, because that means just more people will join us, and it's great space. I'd like to ask what women empowerment means to you.
For us, or for me at least, is giving more opportunity to women to create their future or their opportunities, or work in whatever they want. It's about giving opportunities and give a space to women to decide about their lives.
Beautiful. Completely agree. Next, the Divine. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. What a great group. What a great discussion so far. I'm very thankful and honored to be on the floor today. I am Fintist. I'm the artist and founder of The Divine. We are a very lore-centric project. The Divine is a collective of angelic and cosmic beings. They're guided and created by the Omniavaliant Arc, which is the all-time top-tier being of their universe. The Divine universe has just gone through a great eradication, which was sort of like a war between their worlds. And they know that we are approaching another war. So we are approaching a great eradication in the next year. over the next year, we sort of will be teasing out more stories and bits of background to each of the tiers, the divine, and we are also preparing for this great eradication, and that comes with bringing some companions and weapons to our divines, so they're fully prepared for this great eradication. The really fun part is that all of these elements that are included in the traits and the tiers of the divine all have a value and role in this great war, and those are going to be teased out over the next year, which is really exciting and fun. So this lore and the story tie heavily into our rarity structure. Not only do we have unique traits across the collection that are rare, but we also have 6 tiers of rarity, and each of these tiers have their own story in this universe. We have the Vindicators, which are most common. These are souls torn from the Ark. We have the Apostles, which you can see in my profile picture there. They have purple skin. These were chosen by the Ark in their mortal lives because of their benevolence, and now they are immortal. We have the Royalty, which have bandages over their eyes. They have a story we have yet to tell. They have been to and seen the fire during the last eradication, and over time we'll be able to do a burn and mint for all royalty holders to reveal what they've seen and reveal a new divine underneath those bandages, which is really cool. We also have the Valkyrie, which are 10 top tier elementally imbued divines. We have released not much info on each of these individual Valkyries, but you can be sure that over time we'll start to chip away at that story, as well as the Trinity, which are top 3. These represent the heaven, the hell, and the balance between. And then, of course, the Ark at the top tier of the collection. So as you can tell, there's really a lot of background and lore detail in this collection, and it's really fun to include this in the roadmap as well. It's thoroughly entwined in the utility going forward. So each and every trait will have a storyline that will have value and play a role in that great eradication over time. Like I said, down the line, we will be aiding with our divines with weapons and companions. Most immediately, weapons are coming out in the next month or so. Very excited about that. Definitely stay tuned for some teasers. We haven't given any info yet on what these weapons will look like, so it'll be really fun to release that. We're also working on the Tome of Divinity. This will basically be like a book or a catalog that is going to outline every single detail of the divine so far. We've teased out so much of our story, and you can see that all in our Discord and that channel, but we want to put a real comprehensive piece together where you can read the entire story of the divine, and going forward we will continue to add more that we are revealing. Right now we are currently running Divine Women's Spaces. We're highlighting other female collections in space, which is really important to us. If we have to uplift one another. I see so many faces in the crowd that we've done some already. Mr. Sisterhood, we've got Outlaw Gals tonight, so definitely check that out. We also have an art curation club, which, as a team of artists, one-on-one artists who have been in the space for, a full year now, I think it's really important to us to uplift other artists in the space and give back to our community in that way. We also have merchandise and prints on the horizon coming soon. We've partnered with Stand Up to Cancer, and we have done many charitable initiatives for them so far. We will continue to partner with them, so more will unfold there in the future. And, lots of fun, exciting utility experiments coming over the next few months. We have a really fun concept about the Ark's Elixir, and this will be a social experiment where we drop an elixir to 3 wallets, and these wallets must get the elixirs together in one wallet and burn it together in order to create something that will benefit the entire community. So it'll be fun to see how people sort of pass that around. Maybe people won't want to sell the elixir. So we think, with such a genuine community we have, it would be great to see them come together in such a fun way. So that's just some of the tidbits of utility. I'd love to speak to as well our community. the best community around, like most genuine people ever. They've got your back. They can help you with, if you're just getting into NFTs, if you're looking at other projects, you want to discuss other projects, some of the best people around. So definitely check us out, and be prepared for weapons coming soon, some teasers coming soon. So
I love the lore behind it. It shows one that like you've put a lot of effort into this and that you're truly going to take it far and everyone can kind of follow the story and take a different path. What was kind of the inspiration behind portraying the women as warriors, which I absolutely love, by the way?
So actually the concept isn't totally focused on the fact that we are women. It's more focused on the fact that these are, angelic, otherworldly beings. We don't want to pin a gender on it necessarily. We can say these are the feminine warriors. Down the line, we will have a generation 2 with masculine warriors in the next year. And we want it to just be more like a fantastical world where everyone can feel included, and we'll have an inclusive community that has a focus on, enjoying the collection for what it is, community, and for a really fun storyline that will get really involved down the line. Obviously we have our roadmap out now, but we have big dreams for the Divine. The potential of the story and the lore can expand, beyond our wildest dreams. So I think it'll continue to be more fun for our community.
That's awesome. I see a lot of projects, they start with their male launch as the first launch, and then, you get your companion or, the female second, but you have to hold the first one and then you'll get the second one. So I love that you did the women first. I, truly appreciate that. But the fact that you're also inclusive is amazing as well. Okay, and finally, our last speaker, Flea Boys. How are you, and would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello. My name is Fleaboy Mom, and I am the founder and project manager for the Fleaboys NFT project. It is a project that I started with my son. It basically started as the idea that it started was my son. He grew up in foster care and group homes and like stuff like that, and he came into my life when he was 14, and then he got adopted. I adopted him when he was 16, and there's this organization called You Gotta Believe that brought us together, which I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, he kind of defied all the odds and everything, and he ended up. They used to say he wasn't going to graduate from high school and like all this kind of stuff. And he graduated from high school. He even went to a couple semesters of college. He has a full-time job. He's doing great. He's 22 years old now. About a year and a half ago, he came to me and he was like, "Mom, I wanna write a book. I want you to help me write a book so that I can help, let people that in foster care know that they, or not necessarily foster care, but just people that, grew up in situations that weren't so ideal, just so that people can understand that they should believe in themselves." So we started working on that. We did about 20 pages of it. It was a little difficult, I think, because just like it was bringing up old traumas and you have to go into a lot of detail and things like that. So interestingly enough, we, found ourselves in the Web3 space. NFTs started to interest us, and we decided to pivot the entire project, and now it is an NFT. So Fleaboys is the name of the NFT. The word flea is just another word for fly or fashionable, style, fresh. So Fleaboys, if you have a flea boy, then you're fresh, you're stylish. Another thing is that since it kind of it's our founding, area where when he was growing up was in Brooklyn. We're trying to put a lot of the aspects of like the artistic side of living in urban areas, artistic murals on the walls, also the styles of the haircuts and the styles of the clothing and things like that are all inspired as well. My son is the art director for this. The artist, we actually interviewed about 12 artists, and we selected an amazing artist who's from Spain. Her name is Fatima Cañas, and she is so cool. And she's very talented. We're even discussing having a companion, or our next NFT after we launch, of course. I was talking about, so it will be the next NFT we put out will also be the same artist. So we've basically committed to this wonderful artist that we have. Our dev team is in Argentina, owned by a friend of mine who I met 3 years ago at a conference. We were sitting in a conference together, and we became friends. And he's in Argentina, and we've basically been talking to each other ever since. And basically got him and his team on board. So we have a really great team. We also have a community manager. His name is Jamai. He might be even in the room today. And we also have a DJ, a house DJ for our project. So we like to have a lot of fun. This morning our DJ did about an hour set on Twitter Spaces. Some of you may have even joined. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, back to the organization that brought us together. It's called You Gotta Believe, and we are going to be supporting that organization. They're super excited. We'll be providing a portion of the profits to them as well, and we will be the rest. We will be starting up Fleaboys LLC, which is basically we're going to run it like a business, and we are going to be able to help inspire others to be able to be successful in technology, art, and music. We do have a great music connection, music background, and party and club promoting background between myself and my son. We kind of have that in common. So we've got a lot of really fun things going on in that space as well. I did post a link to the top about our Discord, because I'm sending out POAPs. So if anybody wants a POAP, you're welcome to join our Discord and see if you're interested in getting a POAP for this event. We've started doing POAPs and people really like them. So that's our project.
I love it. Every time I hear your story, it's always so heartwarming. Like, it's an incredible story. How were you introduced to the space in general?
I started buying crypto in 2017, a little bit at a time, $50 a week. And then my first NFT that I heard about was the Doge Pound, so I got a Doge Pound. And so that was back in, I guess, July, so the rest is history. So yeah, that's how I got introduced. And the thing is since I've done 20 years of project management experience, and I work in IT, I work in tech, and project management. So I was like, well, I'm a project manager. Maybe we could run this as a project, because, getting a dev team, a lot of people, you have to get a dev team, you have to get an artist, you have to get a community manager, you have to get somebody to do this and that. But that seemed to be kind of natural. So, so that's basically how we put it all together. We started in October. We kind of have a little bit of a rocky start. And that was because we were trying to really focusing too much on the Discord maybe, and just trying to get people in the Discord. But we really wanted people to be joining our project that are really interested in the project. So like numbers don't really matter. It's really more about the community and that sort of a thing. So I definitely did have just a little bit of trouble at the beginning with the Discord, but then I had to kind of start it over. I deleted like 6,000 people from the Discord that weren't active, and I started it over. And now our Discord is pumping. It's pumping. So it's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And like a pumping Discord is always good. You know, the community can interact with each other. As Fleaboys did, I'd like all the ladies to pin a piece of your work up to the top so everyone can see everything you're working on. And to the audience, I see familiar faces. Thank you so much for joining us. We will open the floor to questions here in a moment, but I have a question for everyone on the stage right now. Where do you see the decentralized space in a couple of years, or what does Web3 mean to you? And this is in no particular order. It's just the way I see all the profiles on my screen. It's going to go Divine, Flea Boys, Angel, Mystic, and then I'll, guide it from there. So the Divine, where do you see the decentralized space in a couple of years?
In terms of generative collections, I think, as we're seeing all these brands and sort of big names sort of flood the space, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a different environment. I think, they'll start to drown out all of these smaller collections that are led by, real artists, real people. And that's unfortunate. And I hope that's, they don't take over the space. And I hope that smaller projects still have a chance to succeed. But I will be shocked if, projects like ours in a few months will still be able to launch and see success and long term because, we're seeing so many new projects launch every day, and so many of them are, scams and rugs, and it's really unfortunate. But I think, because of this, we're going to see a lot of movement towards one-on-one art, which will be incredible. There are so many deserving artists in the space that have been grinding since day one. I think, a couple of years now, a lot of my friends have been in the space. And, I think they'll start to get the attention they deserve. And, I really think the space is incredible. Don't get me wrong. We're giving exposure and opportunity to artists that would never have had this before. Small name artists are now having the ability to run their own auctions and create their own community of collectors and market specifically to people who are looking to invest in them. So, now they're getting all these opportunities that big name artists, have the privilege of in real life. So it's really incredible that, these small artists can do this now, and really, ultimately, all of us can really make a career out of art now, which, the term struggling artist may be a thing of the past. I think that's, what an incredible opportunity this space has provided for us. In terms of collections, I do sincerely hope that we can move forward and continue to see more collections like everyone in this room now. And I will absolutely be supporting every single one as well. And I'm sure that the initial, community in this space will continue to look for projects like this. It just, concerns me about all the people flooding in now and what are their reasoning for flooding in. So, but I think, people will find their way. It takes time, it takes education and knowledge, and we all found our way here inevitably. So I'm hoping that others will as well.
Definitely. Completely agree. Flea Boys, you are next, but I would like to say that the host was rugged. She said that you are incredibly amazing and that your talents are awesome, and she would love to comment, but she is unable to, but she is still listening. Flea Boys, okay. Where do you see the space in a couple of years?
Sure. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that since the Divine just spoke, huge fan. I have a Divine. We just did a giveaway with the Divine. Everyone loved it so much. It was kind of interesting to see the Divine plus Fleaboys side by side, and everybody. It just seemed like that there was a lot of synergy there. So, huge fan of the Divine. I even had a friend who had a birthday yesterday, and I gifted a Divine to my friend. So it's cool. And where do I see the space going? So I do agree with a lot of what Fintis was saying. I'm gonna pivot a little bit and say that music is coming next. Music NFTs, and I think that what is happening right now is that in the music business, they're trying to figure out their way. They're trying to figure out how they're going to come into the scene, what they're going to do. Indie artists are interested. They're just curious, and some of them are trying out different strategies. And I'm excited to see what's going to go on there. I also see more metaverse events happening once these different metaverses are opening up and people starting to try out metaverse events in different spots, like in Decentraland, Sandbox, Madagascar, different ones. Poca City, I think, is another one that's coming out. So I do see a lot of that, and I think that's going to be super exciting. I know there's a lot of people that are curious about the metaverse, or they don't quite understand what it is, or maybe it's blowing their mind too much. But I do think that eventually everyone's going to try it out. Also, I see that just everything being decentralized and being able to own things on the blockchain. We're going to see applications going into different areas, such as maybe in real estate, deeds are going to be on the blockchain. Maybe you're going to see those license keys that you have on your computer software. Those will be stored on the blockchain. There's going to be a lot of maybe not so exciting things on the blockchain, but they will have more utility because they're on the blockchain. So.
Yep. And actually, I'm from Florida, and there's a house from Florida that is being sold, and the contract will be minted as an NFT. And I believe it is the first. So we are definitely moving in that direction.
Definitely.
Mystic, where do you see the space going in a couple years, or how do you feel about Web3?
I think that's such a great question. I love what everyone's been saying so far. I mean, when you say a couple of years, it's funny to think about, because just being in the space a couple of months has already felt like that length of time. Like, it just moves at an incredible pace. So it's hard to fathom, where we're going to be. But I think the possibilities are going to be endless. But I do recognise there will be obstacles along the way. Like any great adventure, there will be good and bad. But I think for artists, it will be an incredible opportunity to onboard more and more of us. And people who maybe aren't, savvy in Web3, or they may be finding it intimidating. It's all about growing that support, and the more that we do that for each other and lift each other up along the way, the more we can really kind of keep that vibe going strong. I think there's just going to be so much happening, and there's going to be so many incredible opportunities along the way that we don't even expect, but I think if we can keep each other positive, keep each other supported, and educate each other, share our knowledge along the way, it's going to be an incredible journey for us all, for sure.
Definitely. Outlaw, I'd love to hear your view on this as well.
Yeah, if you still can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Basically agree what was said before, especially what Finta said. We are very early now, and the space moves so very quickly, so it will grow massively very soon. And especially with the big brands joining in, it will absolutely be struggle for smaller projects, which is, again, another reason to connect and help each other out, But it's an incredible space with endless potential. So many lives have been changed completely. So many people have proven that, artist and creator is in fact a real job, which is very, rejected in a modern society. And I love to see it, absolutely.
Yes. It's exciting to see. Cyber, I'd love to hear your view. Where do you see the decentralized space, or your view on Web3 as it is now?
Hey, thank you. I love what people have been saying so far, and I'd love to agree with what Pinterest and the Outlaw Girls said, that this space will become super crowded very, very soon, and unfortunately, people with a lot of money are going to get attention soon. For a project like ourselves, we are supporting a project with our money, own money, and it's our savings. But someone who has, I would say a lot of Ethereum in their bank, in their wallet, it's easy to get attention with the hype that they create. So yeah, I definitely agree with what Fintist and Outlaw Girls have just said. Also, when I was raising my hand and I got rugged, I wanted to say to the Divine that I'm a huge fan. And if you look at our artwork, we are also trying to portray that women are warriors, and we are launching 10,000 female warriors first, and we will only launch 5,000 male warriors, because that's the whole idea behind it, that females lead this metaverse, and we lead the metaverse, and like kind of include be inclusive to have male warriors, but also showcase that women are leading this. On that also, I wanted to say, Divine, how do I contact you? I think I sent you a message, and I'm sure you're getting a lot of messages on Twitter, but what's the best way to contact you?
I just saw your message now, so I will definitely get back to you. And yeah, sorry, I have a whole slew of DMs I have to go through. I literally have to schedule time to get through those, so I definitely will get back to you. Thank you for that.
No problem. I also wanted to say, anyone here who's listening to me, if you're up for collaborations or you want any sort of help or support, I'm more than happy to help you with that. Also, as someone just mentioned about the Decentraland events, we're going to be hosting some events before we launch. So anyone here who's interested to co-host with us, I'd love to do a metaverse event with you guys. It's going to be fun. So yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. I love seeing connections made, and we're supporting each other. It's so beautiful to see. Lost Girls of the Metaverse, love to hear your views.
Yeah. So I probably have a bit more of I have a slightly different view on the whole kind of big brands and big players entering this space. And I hear it a lot from projects who are already here and who are already very successful, who I think maybe have the impression that these brands are going to come in and, steal the floor and steal our thunder. But I don't know how to start this. All I can say is we're here right now. We're here first, okay? All the big brands who have come in, the Adidas, the Nikes, they haven't done it internally, okay? They haven't done it internally. They've had to reach out to current NFT artists, people who are already here in this space, to help guide them and to collaborate with these artists to create very successful projects. I read something the other day, and I keep forgetting the name of the guy who tweeted it, but it really blew my mind and really inspired and excited me. And maybe that's because of my background, but he said something about how Web 2 was all about artists being desperate, utterly desperate to work with big brands, right? Whereas Web 3, we're going to have some really, really big players, really big brands, absolutely desperate to work with us. And I don't personally think that is a bad thing, because somewhere along the line we're going to have to connect the dots, and we're going to have to bridge the gap between this whole Web 2, Web 3 divide that seems to be happening right now. And ultimately, the fact that we're even here, we have massively invested in ourselves as women and as creatives. And I don't really think we truly know that now. I guarantee you, if any one of us goes on LinkedIn and writes up about our project, we will be flooded. And I can say that for a fact because I've done it myself. Flooded with interest, basically, of employment. Web3 is a scary place for so many big brands, but so many creatives, so many even tech minds, educational minds. It's a scary, scary world, but they're interested, and we're already here. So yeah, I just hope for the future. I guess my hope is that we are going to get massively saturated. I hope that we start as women seeing some really freaking exciting projects and really forward-thinking blue sky projects starting to emerge. In my opinion, I think that's going to be through collaboration. Like you said, the introduction of music, fashion, so many other elements. And I do really, really hope and pray that it will be us as women that that are able to kind of lead the way with that. But yeah, I think it's not something to be afraid of. I think we need to give ourselves credit where credit's due, and people are going to be fighting to work with us or collaborate with us in the future.
Go ahead, Flea Boys, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I 100% agree. Lost Girls, 100% agree. I've even noticed that happening where there's actually there's artists reaching out to NFTs, music artists reaching out to NFTs because they don't have time to make their own NFTs, so they'd rather partner with one of ours or ask how to do it. So we've already been reached out to by some big name, which I will not mention yet. So
I'm buzzing for you. That sounds so exciting. See, this is the thing. This is the stuff that really gets me so excited because, yeah, this is the future, and this is the creative way of moving Web3 along.
Yep, and the big brands, they need us. They need us. They don't know how to go about it. They need us. They need us to guide them, and let's try to do that for them. Let's guide them.
Yes, I was actually going to say, time is money to everyone, and these brands don't have time to teach themselves how to do this. So there's high increased rate of employment. So you have that, background, it's desperate. It is desperate. And as a performing artist, I'm a dancer personally. I see them also coming into the space. It's very small right now. I think I only know 20 to 30, but that number will grow, and there's so much utility that will be offered in the future, and that these big brands will have to incorporate if they want to, continue moving and be relevant and keep up with the trends and, so on and so forth. So I agree with that completely. Conchita, finally, I would love to hear from you and your views on, the future or Web3 as it is now.
I'm agree with all of you and all you say, and I think that everything is going to grow. Web3 is going to be amazing in the next years, and we have to keep positive. And I think that it's a big opportunity for small projects or inclusive projects like us, because we can have this space. And we can create this project, and we can collaborate each other and joining forces. So if we think positively, maybe we see the big branches and everything is expensive and it's very difficult, but I think that we can do a lot of things yet. And we have this opportunity, and why not? It's just we can create a project that we like and that we are thankful for this project, and we can help others like us. So in the real world, sometimes you don't have this opportunity. So I think that we are going to see small projects that are going to surprise us, and a lot of great ideas. And of course, that we are going to see big branches that are going to sell everything and are going to eat everything. But it's opportunity. I'm positive in that way.
I can agree upon the space. There's so much opportunity here, and every day there's even more opportunity. So an opportunity is great to get started. It is also that first initial push and run that can really make a project fly. To the audience, we have incredible, very smart and talented ladies up here. If anybody has any questions, maybe anything in particular, actually, it's an open floor, so please request and we will get you up here. Divine, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say, in no way did I want to give an impression of negativity. I think I just wanted to express a challenge for new creators entering the space in the future. Collections like ours, I do think will thrive. We will get opportunities. We've already seen, many of us have experienced that as well. I think just down the line, those who are new to the space and trying to create something of their own, it will be super saturated at that time. And unfortunately, companies do tend to go for the big influencers in the space, right? They're the ones getting the most opportunities, or collections that are already very or decently established in the space will get most of those opportunities. But absolutely, we can grind and grind. We will get those opportunities just as well. So I didn't want to, give that impression of negativity. Obviously, it's a super bright future for the space. We're all in an incredible position right now. And I look forward to all these new opportunities and developments over the next year. We've seen how fast this space moves. And I've been astounded at some of the things that have come across my plate. And then, I think many of us here are even, should be very proud and feel very, thankful that we've done what we've done so far, because it's an incredible achievement.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This space is new. So, you do have to touch on the harsh reality of it, which is important. Everyone has to see it. So, no way I took it that way personally, but I agree with you. We do have a speaker up. Amanda, now, do you have a question?
I do. And first off, just thank you to someone who is really in her infancy in this space. You've all been incredibly informative and so giving of your time and information today. So thank you. As I said, I'm brand new to this space as a creator, and it's a we. It's myself and a dear friend who's a brilliant artist and really brought an idea that I had to life. We've jumped right in, we've minted a few NFTs, and I kind of feel like we've done things in reverse. Instead of building a community first and then releasing some NFTs, I feel like we've really done that in the reverse order. And I guess what I'm looking for is guidance or any advice from anyone as to how we show up as authentic, real people in this space, and kind of how we make our goals clear. We want to contribute to some charities for each NFT collection that we're doing. So for instance, our current sort of silly, cutesy Kama Sutra kitty series, we want to donate to feline specific charities. And we really hope this is life-changing for my partner and artist friend in the freelance space. And ultimately, we just want to make people smile or chuckle. And I'm really open to hearing if anybody has any advice as to what those of us who are just brand spanking new should do.
Lost Girls, go ahead, and then Divine, and then I have something to add.
Amazing. Hey, Amanda. So I guess advice that I can give just from my own experience from Lost Girls is we did very similar to you. We joined the space and we pretty much minted our Lost Girls, well, put them up for sale within maybe about 3 weeks of joining. So pretty quick off the ground. Like I've said before, don't have a Discord. It wasn't something we ever really wanted to do, go down the route of Discord. However, we did very quickly realize, you're not just going to get sales, and you really cannot come into this space anymore and expect that to happen, which I do think a lot of people do, and are from just a lot of projects recently that I've been speaking to. It seems to be that they think that they'll be fine and things will sell, but it's all about talking and connecting with people, right? So our community, I have, just as an example, we have 250 Lost Girls. That was our number that we started with, and we've sold now just over 150, and we've been selling for maybe 4 weeks. Okay, so by no means a quick sellout, but that wasn't our intention. So we're really, really, really proud of how far we've come so far. And all of the people who are buying our NFTs, they're doing so after hearing us speak. They're doing so after connecting with us on this platform. And they're doing it for the right reasons, in so much as like our community is being purposely built with women who want to become a Lost Girl member. So that's how we've kind of worked that community out and worked our sales route out, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But another really quick point before I hand over to Ventus, who's going to have amazing advice for you, is you really have to think about yourself as a business, right? And I think a lot of projects and artists who join this space potentially don't think of it quite along those lines, but ultimately an NFT, it's a digital contract, right? And you've just got your art there as the forefront of it. And if you're looking to donate money or some of those sales is going to be going to some really amazing charitable causes, you've got to get your head in the game of this is a business. It's supply and demand, and if you don't have the supply there, you're not gonna sell. So it's make those connections, market yourself in the right light, get connecting, get talking to people, and the sales should come.
Divine, go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to touch on a lot of the same points as Lost Girls, and I say come into the space with an attitude of giving. Just give, connect with others, support others endlessly, and then you will receive. And that, you have to do that consistently and over time. And I think, the love will return back to you if you just put out the right vibes. And it sounds like, that's exactly what you want to be doing. Uplift others, uplift women in the space, support your friends when they're running a space or when they're doing something. Buy artists' work from the community. Give back to charities. So many of these people who will be looking at your project are investing in you. So you initially have to, off the bat, prove that you're worth investing in because you're giving everything you can. Not only your time, but supporting others and buying from others or giving to charities, etc. And I think that speaks to this huge wave of female projects finally getting their exposure and their value, because women come into this space and have changed the game because they're saying, hey, this is who I am. This is my story. This is my story as an artist. This is how I've struggled to get here. This is what I've learned. This is why I'm doing this collection. I'm not here for a money grab. This is my mission. I want to make a change in XYZ charities. I want to make a change in this community. I want to make a change in terms of generative art. I want the art to look amazing. I want to support female artists. All these great things that we're not seeing for a long time from all of these generative projects where, they come out and they just say, hey, we know you like us, the look of us, so just buy. But, women are absolutely changing the game and saying, hey, this is why. This is who I am. This is the value in me and my mission. And everyone will resonate with that. And that's immediately how you get people on board, as connecting personally and making those connections. So absolutely very similar points as Lost Girls, I would say.
And also from me, I have two things to add. For charity donations, I would suggest checking out the Giving Block. They will allow you to show that you actually donated to the charity. It's charities with set up wallets, so you can donate through them and then show your, community that you donated. And then second, people love to be informed, and same with Divine and Lost Girls. Like, know, like, and trust is so important, especially in this space. So whatever topic you may be touching on, release informative threads, because that builds that trust and that, they can learn from you. Those are 2 points I've learned in this space.
Amazing. Thank you so much, all three of you.
Thank you for joining. Shiny, how are you?
Hello, I just wanted to add to this. Hi, I just saw a lot of familiar faces. Hi, Lost Girl. Hi, The Divine. Just wanted to add to what they were saying. I completely agree about, building a quality community and really, coming into those spaces and connecting with people on an individual level, and as well as what Fran from Lost Girls was saying about treating it as a business and creating value. And I also wanted to add that creating value for the investor, always kind of putting yourself in the shoes of the investor. What would you want to get out of this project that you're investing? What are the future benefits you would be looking for? A lot of artists, I think they just, and that's also okay because we're all new to this space. Some people are a bit more knowledgeable, some people are a bit less knowledgeable, but a lot of people are getting to the space with this kind of mindset, okay, I create an artwork, I'm just gonna mint it, and kind of that's it. But I think the concept of the roadmap is so important, and start tackling this roadmap as early as even before you start minting. I think projects that do this really stand out to me. Also as a collector, that if you have a mission of, for example, supporting female creators, you start doing it way before you even mint. Because honestly, you don't even need necessarily money for this. You can start with as simple as, hosting spaces where you amplify female voices, or just retweeting a lot of works, like trying to support in small ways. So starting working on that roadmap and really, narrowing down of what matters to you, what do you want to work on, as well as thinking about what would you want to have as an investor. Maybe it's like some kind of sort of passive income. Maybe it's educational sessions like what those girls are doing. Maybe it's a launch pad for female creators like what we are doing. So really trying to deliver value from day one and trying to think about your consumer as it's a buyer, it's a business. So what would you want to get out of this? I don't know if this makes sense.
It does. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shiny. Cyber, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I agree with what Shiny just said. And like, if you don't have to be a collector to support a project, you can always, help a project by, being their co-host in a space, or just helping them out with whatever support they need. I think we do that by giving our time and helping, because I think a lot of projects that just setting up, they are amazing artists, but they might not know how to set up like a Discord. And if we've walked that path, we make sure that other people are getting the support that they need to, because that's how we're going to grow, right? And I believe that together we're stronger, and your success is my success, and that's how I think we're going to grow and grow stronger together.
Thank you. Amazing.
Amanda, are you overwhelmed?
If I didn't have my mic on mute, you would have heard me typing ferociously, because I wanted to hold on. I was listening, but I wanted to hold on to some key points. Thank you so much. This is incredibly insightful and just inspiring.
Of course, I'm so glad we could help in any way. And if there's anyone else in the audience who wants to request feet, please feel free to do so. I mean, all intelligent minds up here. We will be closing the space soon in a couple of minutes. I would like to thank all the speakers who are up here. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure everyone in the audience has, gained at least a little piece of knowledge, if not more. You guys are all incredible. Before we close, I would like to speak a little bit about the Boss Girls to everyone. A quick introduction from us. Boss Girls started off as a simple NFT project, but has turned into a movement. We aim to design a hub where women can decide on who they choose to be and not what others choose to see. A place where they are not expected to prove their worth. We plan to inspire young girls and women to build themselves and allow to create a future that they truly desire. We like to say that we are a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, the centralized and the decentralized. The space has so much to offer, with life-changing events happening every day. We understand that there are so many who may be interested but don't know where to get started, or even others who are confused on what's actually happening here. The media has always, and will continue to, capitalize on the negative events. It's not just rug pulls or scams. People are building, creating, and implementing incredible projects/missions to this space and carrying it over to in real life. We want to inform others on what's actually going on so they can make decisions for themselves. We have recently launched our other social platforms, TikTok and YouTube, where we provide educational and informative content. We understand that time is money and that some retain and prefer audio and visual content. Included in this is our podcast, Let's Hear From Her, where we interview a new guest each episode and share the joys and hardships they may have faced. From entrepreneurs, mothers, athletes, and more, we want to hear from everyone and share with you, as a listener, information from these inspiring individuals. As I finish off, let me invite you to join our movement. As you can see, we want those who are interested to see what we are building and creating, and we want to hear from all the amazing females in the space. Their voices deserve to be heard, so join us. Post a photo of you, your art, or maybe a photograph you've taken, and include the hashtag Let's Hear From Her. With strength in numbers, we as a community could inspire many. So thank you. And if you would like to speak with us more, we have a Discord where we have open topics, questions, and we have helped many set up wallets, join an exchange, and actually buy their first crypto or maybe an NFT. So we would love to hear from you. And if anybody in the space has any more questions, please feel free to join. But I'd like to give a huge shout out to all the speakers who have joined us: the Divine, Flea Boys, Mystic Sisterhood, Outlaw, Cyber, Lost Girls of the Metaverse, Conchitaqueen, and sadly Angel had to leave and Tiny was Rug, but they were up here. But thank you so very much for joining us. This has been one of my most favorite spaces, very informative, and I've got to really know more behind, like, the ladies behind each project. So that was really great to see. And yeah, I believe that's it. Thank you guys.